In this video, we are going to talk a little bit about coping with stress. It may often seem like we're quite underwater, but we still have to deal with it. Stress is a system of many interdependent processes. A few of these processes and characteristics are listed on this slide. The slide is not complete or exhaustive. The strength of the response to a stressor is further modulated by the nature, intensity, and duration of the stressor. The combination of all these factors results in a sometimes extreme difference in how people react to similar stressors. For example, the presence of a spider. Stress, such as a crying baby, produces psychological distress. This is uncomfortable and unpleasant, not a state in which anyone really wants to remain. Stress, especially chronic stress, results in changes to the person's psychological, emotional, cognitive, and behavioral functioning. These are not good changes. So it is not only unpleasant, it is going to make you feel much worse down the road. In general, a person experiences stress when the demands on them exceeds their ability to cope, such as a fraying rope on its last strand. Stress is cumulative. Even stress for good things like weddings adds on to the stress load that a person must carry. The ability and effectiveness of each individual person's coping strategies determines how many, how long, and how strong of stressors they can handle before they reach the breaking point and are stressed out. Coping is defined as successfully managing stressful demands and challenges that are appraised as taxing or exceeding the resources of the person. Effective coping strategies limits the effect that stress has on the mind, body, and immune system. Coping is something that needs to be planned and practiced. It is a learned skill, just like rock climbing. A novice would not be able to climb up this wall, such as this person in the picture. In the same way, we need to practice coping skills, otherwise we will not be able to control our stress. The coping efficacy of the healthy individual, whether that coping is adaptive or maladaptive, mediates the psychological and physiological responses to stress. If their coping mechanisms are adaptive, there is just a transient effect during disease, and they are able to return to homeostasis at a steady state. However, if their coping abilities are maladaptive, a stressful life event or disease can result in a significant stress response, the disease, or illness. Examples of some adaptive coping techniques may include stress management, medication, imagery, massages, biofeedback, and many others. A maladaptive example would be when stressed out, people tend to have sleep disturbances. This only makes their condition worse. Partial sleep deprivation leads to decreased natural killer cell activity in healthy people. And then greater sleep deprivation leads to respiratory and immune system problems. A similar effect is seen in symptomatic or unhealthy individuals. When they are stressed, they also have the ability to have an adaptive coping response or a maladaptive coping response. If they have effective and adaptive coping, that will have little or no effect on their symptoms. However, if they are ineffective coping and have maladaptive coping, this may make their disease worse. There are two general categories of coping strategies that are especially beneficial during stressful experiences. These include strategies that are problem-focused and those that encourage seeking social support. One example of problem solving would be brainstorming for solutions. This process would start by describing the problem in detail, brainstorming options to solve the problem, picking an option to try, making an action plan, and then trying out that plan, and then a little bit later, evaluating how successful it was, and then repeat the entire process. As far as social support, the best way to get social support is to find comfort and support in others when stressed. Complete management of stress is beyond the scope of this class. However, because stress is so omnipresent in modern society, I did want to provide some links that do describe further in detail about how to deal with stress. You will not be tested on this, but I did find a lot of the information in these websites very useful. As with many of the things in life, we do have a choice. We can choose to be stressed, we can choose to be relaxed. choose wisely.